Hey there! So I just tried to do this video with my regular camera and it completely ran out of juice. So I'm going to use the iPad, and I know it's not very good quality, but hopefully it can do the trick. This is going to be my Everything I Know About Dreadlocks Take 2. 3 years later almost, and I went back and actually watched the original video, which is kind of funny. I had them for 2 months and thought I was the expert, but what's kind of funny is that I'm pretty much doing everything exactly the same as I was then. So as you can see, I still not an expert, but I have to say after 3 years I am pretty pleased with the outcome. So I'm going to kind of start out with a disclaimer like I did in the original video, which was to let you know that this is just my opinion, that there are, a million ways to do dreadlocks, just like there are a million people who have them. And so depending on your hair, this may or may not be accurate for you, but this has been my experience. So I kind of talk in the original video about how I started them, and, I'll let you refer back to that. But I did back comb. I didn't use any wax, no crochet, anything like that in the beginning. So pretty much for the first year, the only thing I did was that original back comb, and then just washed them and pretty much left them alone. I'd say the biggest thing that happened in that first year, which is probably around the 4-month mark. If you've watched my videos at all, you'll notice a huge difference. Was we went to Miami on a trip, and all of the salt water just it's amazing what it will do. So if you have the opportunity, you're near the ocean, or actually I've seen a lot of people who say just to do a sea salt bath, and soak your hair, get the same effect. But it's pretty unbelievable. For me, it was the amount of length that I lost, but really to see them locking up, it is amazing. So that was a big thing in the first year. And then right around my 1-year anniversary, I did actually go and have some maintenance done. I work in healthcare and have a fairly professional job, and so they were just getting to be a mess. There's so much loose hair. They were so short. I mean, we're talking like extremely short, and so I had to do something. So I held out as long as I could. I was like, I'm not going to do extensions, but I see why people do. Because I really did. I lost 12 inches, maybe more. I don't know. It was outrageous. And so around about a year I went, there's a place in Austin, Texas that is, a couple, and they, intermittently had some other people helping them out, but the Lock Doctor, Dreadlock Studio, and I went there right around 1 year, and I've probably gone 5 or 6 times since. And they do crochet and just kind of clean up the loose hair and kind of tighten things up, because you really do. You get a lot of new growth and things are kind of crazy. So I have done that a handful of times. And I really talked in the original video about products. I'm still using the same thing I used, my first wash, which is the Dreadhead shampoo. The first bottle lasted me about a year, actually, and so after that I had bought some Dr. Bronner's, and I thought I would give it a try, but it's too slick or something for my hair, and it just kept having so much loose hair. So for me, it was, not effective, and so I actually went back to the Dreadhead, which I'm still using. I dilute it in a lot of distilled water. I use some essential oils as well. And then I'm still using my apple cider vinegar rinse. So if you want to know about those things, I talk, proportions and, how I do that in the original video. But that has been very successful for me. And so I've just stuck with it. I've never had any issues with, mildew or bugs or anything. In the first video, they're only 2 months old, so I talk a lot about the itchies and dandruff and things that, to be honest with you, I can't even remember those days. So it goes away once your pH balance, gets in line, and your hair gets used to the new routine. I'll occasionally get itch, but I'm sure that would have happened if I didn't have dreadlocks. So I very consistently washed my hair at least once a week, more usually in the summer, or I was swimming a lot when I was pregnant, and so, you know, obviously washing my hair a lot more if I was in the pool. But, you know, the biggest thing for me that first year was really just leaving them alone and letting go of the process. You know, I'll do another video, my 3-year update, you know, the more philosophical stuff, but, you know, it's really just being able to focus on the outcome and know that, you know, they are in, you know, 3 years, which, you know, everything that I had seen and read, it really kind of, that was the magic number. So the first year for me was just a lot of patience that, you know, we just kept seeing shrinking. And the second year, I think it finally flipped, and I started to see a little length, or at least it stopped shrinking. Maybe it wasn't growing, but I think I said earlier, but I mean, at one point, you know, my front ones were probably to my eye. I mean, they were so short, and, you know, my hair was down to here when I started, so it was pretty dramatic. And I held out, you know, and I trusted the process. And so, you know, as far as, you know, things that I'm doing or things that I've been using for now that my hair is getting longer and they're so heavy, I'm almost outgrowing my microfiber towel, and so, you know, I went to a new head wrap that's also microfiber that absorbs a lot of the water, but I find that when they're wet, they are, you know, really heavy to have them tied up. And just the same, you know, starting really early, washing my hair in the morning so it has time to dry during the day. I don't need a sleeping scarf anymore. I haven't since they've been, you know, mature, probably since the first year or two. I haven't needed anything with sleeping. I would say also once they started getting really hard, my niece calls them my sticks. They're like sticks. You do notice some pain when you're sleeping, but you do get used to it. Now it's not an issue. I used to sleep on my back. So the key is like just parting them in the middle, you know, so you're laying on your scalp, but not on the dread. But when I got pregnant, you can sleep on your back. So you know, once you sleep on your side, and I'm still sleeping on my side now, and my daughter's a year old, but it seems to be easier just to kind of get them out of your way, and you know, you don't have any pain that way. Let's see what else. You know, other big things is just the you know, logistics of how to keep them up. You know, I can finally now tie them with my own hair. I've been wearing the scarves to work every day since, I can't remember, a very long time, maybe since the beginning. And so my hair is always pulled half up pretty much. And I'll be very excited. I've been wearing ponytails a little bit more. There's still a few short ones that have to kind of get tucked in, but so it'll be nice to be able to pull them back when I want to. I think that's about it. I'm still using a lot of essential oils. I've been using lemongrass lately. That's my new favorite. And just ordering things online. But for me, it's really just been more about doing it my way than it has been about, you know, consulting other things. I think in the beginning you need so much support. So for me, that first year, probably the biggest thing that you need, you know, I talked a lot about the flea comb and the shampoo and stuff like that, but what you need is one person who absolutely is in your corner for dreadlocks, you know, who is like your biggest fan, because my husband saved me. You know, there haven't been many times where I've questioned, you know, my decision, you know, to have dreadlocks, but in those first few months, year, especially when they were so short and I just looked ridiculous, he was always like, oh, they're awesome, and, you know, you look great. He claims he wasn't lying, but, you know. And, you know, that really helped. I also had a good community through YouTube, through Dreadlock Truth, and, you know, just those days where you're like, oh my God, what did I do? You know, to have a whole bunch of people to say, like, they look awesome, or you're getting there, you know, hang in there, was, I think, really the biggest key to the success, and sticking it out, because, you know, I've seen other videos where people talk about, you know, all these people who after, you know, a couple months are brushing them out or cutting them off, and, you know, and I've seen it too, people who, you know, we kind of started together and I'd followed their videos, you know, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm sick of them. And so I'm proud, I'm happy, you know, to be hitting the 3-year mark, and and, know that I made it. And I did. I trusted the process that, I always said, 3 years. I don't know why, but in my mind, 3 years was like the goal. And I still remember telling my brother-in-law, I used to look at the timelines on Dreadlock Truth, and I said to him, come and look at these pictures. And I showed him the progression, and he's like, wow, that is a lot of commitment, And at the time, I didn't really think much of it because I was committed, I knew that I loved dreadlocks. I knew that it was the right thing for me. I was on this path to authenticity and being, my true self, and I really think that is what I have achieved over the last 3 years. And so, I encourage you and I applaud you if you are just starting out on the journey, or if you're considering it. It is a big commitment. And know that the first year is going to be really hard. You are not probably going to look very pretty. And you're probably going to have a lot of people who are asking you what in the world you're doing. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it if you know that it's the right thing for you. And, I was 30, gosh, how old am I now? I was 33 when I started my dreadlocks. And so, I was very, I guess, sure of myself, more so than I probably would have been. Well, definitely more so than I would have been, at any time prior. But, a lot of people are, 18, 20. And so if you are, you have to be prepared, for the people who may look sideways. But, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it in the end. So, I don't know if I brought much, information to the, to the discussion, but that is everything I know about dreadlocks up until this point, 3 years, and maybe in another 3 years I'll do another video. So, thanks for watching. Bye.